So with Eventlab 2.0, you're meaning to tell me I can just build anything and share it? Like anything that I imagine, I can just make something magically appear. They built what? How is that possible? That doesn't make sense. They built, how? Wow. No way. You mean to tell me that's in the game?
Welcome to Eventlab Island. I'm VuKKuu, and I'm here to talk about my newest, biggest idea, the Eventlab Prop Packs. What are Eventlab Prop Packs, you ask? Well, let me explain that. So these are going to be a series of Lego-like structures that you'll assemble to create a very big and grand structure within your Eventlab. I've done all the heavy lifting for you, and best of all, these structures that I create take up only about 5 to 8% of your budget. Now, if you continue to use the same pieces, you'll actually be able to create entire worlds similar to some of the past creations that I've had. Now, you can have these same structures in your Eventlab. The easiest way of doing this is just by simply searching through the creator prefabs options, liking anything that I build, or simply saving me. Now, you can search by creator, which is VuKKuu, or you can search by a bunch of keywords. This right here is the Grand Prix paddocks, and it consists of about 800 pieces. Best part about it, I only used about 5 different props. Those 5 props are going to be on screen, and best of all, the prop pack is going to include several structures that you can place in your Eventlab using everything that I've done on screen with these 5 props. So it's going to be very minimal to your budget, and best of all, you can now have some amazing looking structures that look like they were designed by the professional team. If you save these in your community prefab section, you can pull this up anytime. As you can see on screen, there's about 9 different pieces to this one set. Now, the first item you don't have to use, but items 2 through 8 will give you a complete structure. Now, what I've decided to do is just to show you all how easily this can be created and imported in, and later on in the video, you're going to see me assemble this structure in less than maybe 4 minutes.
But let's get back into the prefabs. So what you can see here is a paddock, and what I've done is I've created essentially a Grand Prix motorsport paddock for the community. Now, because this is such a complex structure, like I was talking about earlier, I had to save this and create about 8 different, you're gonna see 9, but about 8 different sections of this prefab. And I figured this would be the easiest way for most of you to import my items, especially the ones that are more complex that you're going to see later on as the game develops. So the easiest way of doing this and how I've decided to organize my items is by listing out like the name of an item. For instance, this is the paddock. So I've simply labeled the pieces as paddock piece number 1, paddock piece number 2, paddock piece number 3, so forth and so on. So all you have to do is search my name, VuKKuu, which is spelled VuKKuu, and then you're gonna individually load these pieces into your Eventlab. So you're gonna start with the first piece, you're gonna select that, drop it into the map wherever you want. Then you're gonna go back into the tab where it says import. You're gonna import piece number 2, then import piece number 3, so forth and so on until you have all 9 pieces, and you're able to essentially save yourself over about 5 hours of what this took me. You can now import it in about 10 minutes. You're gonna have to line things up a little bit, but that's the easy work. So yeah, so I love that the creative team over there at Playground Games have given us this option. This is huge, and this is long overdue. I'm so excited about it. But let's jump back into the community prefabs, and let's talk a little bit about how you can use this prefab tab to search through community creations. So you're going to see that you have again, my prefabs tab. If you tab over, you're going to see the community prefabs, and this is where you have the ability to look at what's trending, what's new, what's the most popular, what's got the most downloads, your friends and followed, obviously, and then if you've saved anything by favoriting it, it's going to be in your favorites tab. I'm going to show you can see here, I'm just tabbing through some of these sections just to show you some of the really neat things that are already emerging in Eventlab. You're going to see road pieces. I fully expect houses, buildings, structures. you're gonna see all sorts of stuff like this. Now, this is an excellent segue into some tips, some tricks for me and how I've created some really big immersive environments while also keeping an eye on my budget. One of my biggest fears, and what I know that this is gonna start to emerge, and this is what I challenge you as the community to kind of keep an eye on, keep in mind in the back of your mind as you're building. Some of you guys are gonna gravitate to making really, really complex structures, utilizing maybe 15 to 30 different props within the builder, maybe even more than that, to create some very realistic structures, which are gonna be great for photo studios. So if you're looking for a location for photos, this is perfect for you. Now, if you're looking to get something with a lot of downloads and you want to be able to share that with others and they can put that in their creations and their Eventlabs or their blueprints, I want you to keep this in mind. The more items that you use, the higher or the bigger the impact it is on your overall budget. Now, if I, as a creator, am only utilizing, say, 15 different props because I want to make those props, really stretch, I'm going to duplicate them over and over and over again, maybe hundreds or even thousands of times. What I need to pay attention to and what I'm going to be looking for are structures or prefabs that others have made who are utilizing those exact same props. Not more, not necessarily less, those exact props. And the reason this is so important is if you've made a prefab item and you've saved it and you've uploaded it for the community and you're using, say, 30 different pieces, well, me as a creator, if I go in and import your creation into my Eventlab, my budget's gonna go from, say, 5% and shoot up to maybe 40% because of all of the different props that you've used for your structure. So this is why I want each one of you to consider this. If you're looking to really help the community, focus on utilizing the bare minimum amount of props. You can duplicate these props over and over again, but you don't want to use a wide variety of props unless it's for a photo studio location. If it's for a photo studio location, go wild, use all the props that you can, max that budget out. But if you're trying to help others out in the community, list your props out, which is what you'll be able to do on my page. You can always follow me on Twitter. Under my Twitter post, you're always going to see, or my YouTube videos, you're gonna see a list of those items in the description. They're gonna tell you exactly how many props I've used for these structures. And I'm also creating what's called Prefab Prop Packs. So what is a Prefab Prop Pack? Well, that's a VuKKuu creation. And what that is I'm gonna be creating a set of structures, let's say 4 to 5 structures that are gonna be included in a pack, very complex structures, but they're all going to contain the same prop pieces. So for the paddocks piece, for instance, there's only 5 individual props that make up that entire structure. So as I create more props and more prefabs in this prop pack, I'm going to be utilizing those same 5 props to create more structures. So what that means for you as an importer, you're able to then take my prefabs and it's going to be very low on the budget. It's probably only going to make your budget be at like 10%, and you're going to be utilizing thousands of my pieces. So I've got you guys in mind. For those of you who are really, really passionate about Eventlab, I challenge you to keep this in mind as well for your followers and for the community, because we can really make some cool stuff as long as we're keeping in mind the overall budget limit.
Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoy this time lapse. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter for more great content, and for all of your Eventlab tutorials, tips, tricks, and guides. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.